Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 24 female, have recently bought my own home. Mom insisted I invite my brother, 40 male, and his family over to celebrate. For background, my brother hasn't amounted to anything in his life, despite my parents supporting him through their financial highs and abysmal lows. I remember when he found out he wouldn't be getting any inheritance from my parents, and the rest would be divided up between my nephew from his first marriage and myself because, according to my parents, we've both done something with our lives, while his bad decisions have left him in a rent trap and a massive amount of unnecessary debt. I want to also mention that for a long time, my parents barely managed to keep a roof over our heads and asked that my brother help make ends meet, which he later admitted he only did because he thought it'd be worth it when they die and he inherits the place. Fast forward to last night, and I'm showing them around. It's a big place and a little fancy, I will admit, but I know I deserve the life I have now because throughout my teenage years, I had to give up my scholarship money to help pay off his debts, my free time and study time to look after his son, and I even had to drop out of high school because I was skipping class to work. That's how bad things were. But I went to a trade school and got 3 diplomas in engineering and programming before finishing my degree 2 years ago, all while juggling a full-time job so I could have experience on my resume when I graduated. After dinner, my brother found me on the balcony, and I had to pretend I wasn't hiding from him. He started asking about what my plan was now that I had a house and very little of the mortgage left to pay off. I was honest and said I was probably going to work abroad, travel, and save for retirement. He asked me where it all goes when I die, and I told him his son, since he's hardworking and deserves it the most. He got angry and asked why not him and his family, to which I told him that I had no interest in leaving anything for his family, because he has no interest in me and our parents aside from what he can get from us. His wife came in screaming, calling me selfish for not helping my brother and my very own niece, to which I replied, I'm going to tell you the same thing you'll hear from your landlord when you no doubt fail to make rent for the 3rd month in a row. Get out of my house. Mom heard this and yelled at me before saying we both ruined what was supposed to be a lovely night. His wife said my elitism and selfishness ruined the night, and not them for asking for a little help, since I clearly could, or at least pay for their daughter to go to a private school and secure her future. She's 3. After they left, Mom said I should at least consider helping, and that he can't help the situation that he's in. I told her that if she really doesn't see why that's a bad idea, then she should leave as well. And now neither of my parents are answering my calls. Am I the a-hole? Edit. There's been a lot of confusion in regards to my qualifications, my scholarship, and my timeline. A diploma in my country is a year-long qualification that's maybe 2 tiers below an actual bachelor's degree, hence why I said trade school. So I have 3 trade diplomas that I completed in 3 years, age 18 and 19. My college debt isn't treated the same as the rest of the world. Students have the option to pay up front or take 0% interest government loans that you repay via tax, and only if you're earning over a certain threshold. It did not affect my credit score. My state government also offered first home buyers grants for people under a certain age to help young people afford their first home. I've also received many threatening messages asking how I've graduated but posted about looking for work or where on campus to study months ago. Let me be clear. The work I'm currently in is experiencing a huge shortage of skilled professionals, and the jobs that pay the most for people with limited experience, in my country, tend to be FIFO, or fly-in, fly-out jobs, where you have to fly out to a mine site in the middle of nowhere for sometimes up to weeks on end, and maybe 1 week back home. It's hot. The weather conditions are usually extreme, and it's lonely, hence why not many people can do it for too long. I'm studying my master's when I'm back at home. I didn't think it mattered enough to post, but after getting threatened and having my previous post stalked, I want to clarify that I'm doing my master's part-time so I can work abroad instead of being limited to doing socialist work in the desert, or at least find a job in my city that pays just as well. And the people asking why I would buy a house if I plan on living abroad. Why not? If I can afford it, why not? What if I want to move back? What if I want my own place to visit during holidays or when I'm homesick? What if things don't work out abroad? Why not? I don't understand why the 40-year-old brother thinks he's going to outlive OP, not the a-hole. If anything, he owes you. Not the a-hole. I find it odd that your parents, having learned the lesson themselves that your brother is a leech, are now asking you to take over the burden of subsidizing him. Not the a-hole. Your brother and his wife are able to work and shouldn't rely on handouts to get through life. You did not work hard to keep him financially stable. I would say that if you're planning on going abroad and still have your house, that you secure it or rent it out because he will move in and squat. I'm sorry that your parents haven't shown him how to stand on his own 2 feet, but you should live your life and be happy. I, 24 female, have been in a wonderful new relationship with my partner, 31 male, for about 8 months. My ex, 25 male, of 3.5 years, who I had broken up with a couple months before, is still in my core group of friends. I have no ill or remaining feelings towards my ex, and am totally okay with being around him. I still am happy to be friends, but also understand we're both broken up and are each on our own journeys to heal and move on. My friends all really like my current partner, as he is always happy to join and excited to be involved when getting together. But so far, my ex has never met him, and I know he would probably be very hurt to be in that situation, especially since it's been less than a year since our breakup. There are a few occasions, once in a blue moon, where my ex will be attending a board game night, dinner for a B-day, etc., which is totally fine, but have communicated with my current partner that it might be best if he stay home when my ex is there in these occasions. I don't want to hurt my ex, who is still healing, make my partner uncomfortable, or create any tension for my friends, as being in the middle of 2 friends breaking up can be already difficult. Of course, I know this isn't easy or fair for my partner. He trusts me, but he still isn't very happy when I ask him about this, and I completely get why. I hate myself for doing this because I know it isn't right, and I try and explain to him that I just don't know what to do in the situation, and what might happen if he attends. I've never had an ex before, and I'm just really conflicted and confused on what to do. A reason I broke up with my ex-partner is because he made our relationship very hidden, and so it irks me so much to feel like I'm doing the same thing for my partner in this instance. I'm so proud to be with such an amazing person, and am happy to be with him anytime, anywhere, and would never in a million years hide him away. But in this instance, I just don't know what to do. It never feels good to ask him to be excluded like this. The easy solution is just not go if I don't want my partner there. But I still want to be present with my friends in these situations because they're usually special occasions like a birthday, for one of our core friends, etc. And of course I want to be there for them, even if my ex is there. But the few times this happens, I hate that I'm putting my partner in this position. I just want to be the best partner I can to him, but also navigate and maintain my friendships that are tied to my ex. Any advice to navigate this situation would be so appreciated. You're the a-hole. First, for starting to date someone when you are apparently on a journey to heal and move on. Second, for still being on that journey 8 months in. Third, for putting your ex's feelings over your poor current partners. Fourth, for keeping this going for nearly a year. Fifth, for pretending you're just trying to be nice to everyone, when it's pretty damn clear you still have feelings for your ex and are leading the current partner on. You're the a-hole. Why are you prioritizing your ex's feelings over your current partner? If I were your partner, I'd be very suspicious about this request and assume you were hiding something, likely that you're not over your ex. You're the a-hole. It nearly sounds like you still have feelings for your ex, and your partner isn't really at the forefront of your mind. You aren't taking his feelings into consideration at all. Your partner wants to spend time with you. How do you think he's going to feel knowing you don't want him at an event you want to go to, but your ex is at? He won't be your partner for long knowing you prioritize your ex over him. I, 27 female, recently got engaged to my boyfriend of 5 years, Calvin, 29 male. We had a party at a restaurant with his family to celebrate. Towards the end of the meal, his grandmother stood up to make a speech. She is so happy we found each other and can't wait to see her eldest grandchild get married. You know, the typical sweet sappy stuff. That was until she got to the end. She wrapped up her speech by saying, "I think I speak for everyone when I say we're all so happy you finally got over your gay phase." Calvin is bi and has dated men in the past. We all just sat there in shock. He didn't say anything, but I could tell Calvin was upset. I didn't say anything at the restaurant because I didn't want to make a scene in public. But when we got back to his parents' house, I ducking lost it. I started screaming at his grandmother, "What the hell is wrong with you? How can you say such hurtful things towards your grandson?" She just smiled at me. I just said what everyone was thinking. I demanded she apologize. When she refused, I told her she would not be getting an invitation to our wedding until she does. This caused an even bigger argument, but at this point, I'd had enough, and Calvin was on the verge of tears, so we left. He didn't say anything to me for the rest of the night. Later, I found him sobbing in the kitchen, but still he refused to talk to me. The next morning, I woke up to hundreds of texts and phone calls from different people. Calvin's dad, sisters, and cousins are all on our side, but his mom, aunts, and uncles are not. I got a particularly nasty phone call from his mom, calling me a selfish bee for taking away her 80-year-old mother's opportunity to see her only grandson get married. I told her, well, if she wants to come, there is one very simple thing she has to do, then hung up. I sat down with Calvin today and had a serious conversation with him about everything that happened. He apologized for giving me the cold shoulder, but was very upset and overwhelmed with everything his family said, which is understandable. He also told me he's very grateful that I stood up for him, but after everything that happened, he would rather his grandmother not come to our wedding at all. I told him I will always love him and support him in the decision he made, but can't help but feel like I could have handled things better. I wouldn't have started a fight within his family. I feel so guilty about it. So, Reddit. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. It's yours and Calvin's wedding. You stood up for him, and he's appreciative of it. He made a decision which you support. This is all about you two, and when you two are on the same page, everyone else can either be nice or duck off. His grandmother did this to herself. She's the a-hole and needs to work on herself. Not the a-hole. You decide who comes to the wedding. Calvin and you agree on this point, so there is no issue. I don't think I would have reacted the same as you, though. I would have shut my mouth and then uninvite her from the wedding. But it's totally understandable to snap in those times, so that doesn't make you an a-hole. She hurt your fiancé's feelings and yours pretty badly, so it is an expected reaction. I think most of us have a close-minded relative of some sort, and I don't think you'll be able to change your views at that point. But she can keep this to herself, not mention it in a speech. Not the a-hole. It's an unfortunate case of intolerance, which happens more frequently with older generations. You asked her to apologize. You explained your point of view. She refused to understand and concede. If she truly wanted to go to that wedding, she had the opportunity right there to just say sorry, even if she didn't fully mean it. She would have tried at least. I was having my brother and his family over for the holidays, and all was going pretty well. We were spending time with each other and being civil. I was walking by their room with the laundry when I overheard my brother and his wife arguing over something. It was something about her promising to not do something, but having done it recently. I quickly left and thought nothing of it and didn't mention it. My sister-in-law works at a big corporation where we're from. The two men who owned the business are notorious for cheating on their wives with their female employees. My sister-in-law always tries to outdo everyone, like when she told my sister that we were all supposed to dress casually for an event she was hosting, and my sister showed up in jeans and a sweater, while everyone was wearing fancy clothes. The next day, my brother was in a bad mood while my sister-in-law kept asking him what we had done to him. He told her to just leave it. She insisted that we should talk about what my family had done to upset him. I got up and went to their room. My friend who works at the company told me that people in the company were talking about the fact that she had recently slept with one of the bosses for benefits and had done it before. I told her it wasn't possible and that I had to go. I walked past their room and overheard my sister-in-law telling my brother that if he divorced her, she would take the children. I was appalled because she's usually been wonderful. Later, at dinner, things were a little tense. She kept nagging on brother, telling him his bad mood didn't suit him, that he was embarrassing her, and that I must be ashamed to have a brother like him. I snapped and told her that I was embarrassed that I had her as a sister-in-law, and that her doing that to my brother wouldn't be tolerated, and that she should get the duck out. Everyone froze, and they quickly got up and left after a minute. My brother messaged me the next day telling me it was my fault, and that I ruined the holidays and shouldn't meddle in people's relationships. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, since she pulled you into it with the comment about you being ashamed of him. Not the a-hole. She kept nagging on brother, telling him his mood didn't suit him, that he was embarrassing her, and that I must be ashamed to have a brother like him. I was leaning the other way until this point. I don't think it would have been right to just explode at her about office gossip you just heard and can't directly substantiate, especially not before you had a chance to talk to your brother about it first. That said, her conduct at dinner was unacceptable in any circumstance. She was antagonizing and humiliating your brother, and she used you as tools in visiting her cruelty upon him. Ain't nobody gonna do that to my brother, in my house, while eating my food at my dinner table. Hell no. Whether or not the office gossip proves true, there was absolutely something very intense going on between the two of them. I, 26 female, need advice on how to handle this mess. I've worked with him, 32 male, for about a year and a half. I've been divorced from my ex-husband for 1 year now. We have to work closely together and at that time became friends. We confided in each other and would make each other laugh. He started telling me about his marital problems, and I would tell him about my relationship with my ex-husband, and we became good work buds. Eventually, they separated. He told me he was definitely going to be divorced, and that they were both in agreement and on good terms. We started spending more time together and started dating. It was amazing and lasted for 6 months. He spent almost every night with me. I found out on social media that they were back together. I confronted him about it, and he told me it was true, and they had been trying to work it out for the last 6 weeks. We got into a bad fight. I was so angry and upset. He's been apologizing and wants us to keep seeing each other, and says they are eventually going to divorce. I am not going to do that, obviously. I thought we had a real connection, and maybe we do or did. This has really upset me, and I feel a mild form of heartbreak. Why not just tell me? This totally blindsided me. There he is every morning when I get to work. I do not know what is true anymore. He told me his wife knew he was seeing someone during the separation, but he was sleeping with me the entire time they were back together. I try to envision myself doing this while my husband and I were separated and lying to someone for weeks. He has said that it is just for their kid and finances, and they don't sleep in the same bedroom anymore. He very well may be telling the truth. I don't know what to believe. Should I reach out to his wife or save myself the trouble, honestly? If she does know, it may just start unnecessary drama. Well, this is a classic. It is so common that books have been written about it. Man complains about his married life, tells side piece he will divorce soon, but never does. Separated isn't divorced. You're not divorced until the divorce is final. I'd also be very sus about someone separated that immediately jumps in bed and into a new relationship. Seems like maybe the separation was just a free pass for him to get some strange before patching things up with the missus. He's been lying to his wife about you. Why wouldn't he be lying to you about his wife? Rule number 1. Don't get romantically involved with coworkers. It sucks when things go south. If you report to this person, you could both get fired. Rule number 2. Best to keep your work life and personal life as separate as possible. Confide in out-of-work friends or a therapist.